I've been following. I know nothing about cryptocurrency. Let me put that out there. Nothing about cryptocurrency. Nothing about this company, MicroStrategy, that this guy, Michael Saylor, runs.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently there's you've read about it? So there's apparently a company where this guy Michael Saylor was, cracked in the head after the .com bubble for engaging in some fraudulent misreporting of financial information. And then he went from a billionaire to a much poorer person. And now he's back in the mix, and he has a company called MicroStrategy. And it seems like what his company is a software company that makes very little money. But other than that, he takes investments and then he uses those investments to buy Bitcoin. And it's exploded in popularity. And so people are basically transitively, from what I can tell, purchasing Bitcoin via their shares of his company. And now that Bitcoin is going down, a lot of people are like, how is this firm going to survive? Because the SEC just said you can't qualify as a company anymore because over half of your holdings are just in Bitcoin. So you're not you're not a company that produces things. You're a holding company. You're a firm that holds resources and value in Bitcoin. And more people are buying this. And a lot of people are saying this is clearly a scam. The guy runs scams and he's doing this again. He's going to sell all the Bitcoin and run off to fucking Antarctica or whatever. Is this what you're hearing too, Goblin? Because I don't have the requisite knowledge, but it sounds like this guy's a very obvious scam artist.
Well, I mean, the problem with Michael Saylor is like this Bitcoin crackhead pretty much who like has just suddenly decided, like, what if we throw every penny we have at top blasting Bitcoin? So like this guy is not buying at like 80,000 and it's going up. This guy was buying at like 120K. Bitcoin's like down.
Yeah, it's like 80 or something now.
Yeah. I bought some the other day. It was like 84. Like it's down right now. So he has thrown a disgusting amount of money at just buying Bitcoin every other day and stupid amounts of it at like the worst possible prices. And now that it's down, I read something on Twitter the other day about how I guess JP Morgan, who's one of their biggest investors, dumped like $100-something million worth of their shares because they're worried about them going insolvent. And like, I mean, when you throw, I don't know how much Bitcoin the guy has, but like
629,000. He has 3% of all Bitcoin. He has 3% of all Bitcoin.
He'll probably be okay then.
Wait, how many coins does he have?
There's 21 million total, and his firm has 600,000.
That's kind of terrifying, though, when you think of like the implications of that for Bitcoin, because I feel like Bitcoin's entire premise originally was this like decentralized like currency that, you know, was really a new financial technology where like just the other day I was trying to send money to my mom and my bank denied the Zelle transfer, but like I can send crypto for free and no one can tell me no. You know, they're close to free nowadays.
I think the U.S. and China has like 200,000 coins each, and El Salvador is in maybe not third place, but like close because
they went all in on it. Yeah,
they went all in 2021, and I think it was at like 42K then. So they bought like an enormous amount of Bitcoin at 42K, and it has, I mean, it has buoyed their entire economy because they bought so much of it.
But when are they going to
bought at the right time?
Like, well, when are they going to?
They're probably able to borrow against.
Get it.
But
like, at some point with Bitcoin, you need some. The dream of Bitcoin is that you hold it until the peak and then you sell it to someone else for real money. Like that. That's kind of baked in, right?
Yeah, I don't know how. Maybe for the individual guy who's buying,
but I don't know anything. Like these people who like believe in it as a currency, they probably have more requisite knowledge.
Well, yeah, when it's a national, when they're like building their national economy around it, I don't know. I don't know if they're able to borrow other monies against maybe their enormous stash of Bitcoin. I don't know how that works. I bought like half a coin when it was like
12. I remember it was 2016
it was like
you bought.
Yeah, it was like 10 or 12. I think I paid like 6,200 or something like that, 6,500 maybe, and got half. And then I bought another half when it was at like 50,000. I bought another half so I'd have a whole one. And I was telling you the other day, I was like, if this thing drops below 90, I'm going to buy some more. And you're like, it's at 84. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? and so I've been watching it all week, like planning to if it stays in the low 80s, I'm going to buy a little bit more, not some.
You just don't want to be the bag holder, because that's what it seems like this is going to be. Right?
I don't think that's true. I think when the United States government has like $100 billion of it or whatever, and so does the Chinese government. And I see all of these rich and powerful people who are involved with it at these massive levels. Like, Trump is pro crypto.
Always manages their money wisely, Taylor.
The French, the Brits, and the Belgians all purchased tulips at the height of that craze. The governments themselves purchased.
Okay, well, that was like a 2 or 3 year tulip craze in the Netherlands or whatever. I don't recall. But in any case, I don't know if I'd compare the tulips to Bitcoin, because it does.
But there's no intrinsic value to the Bitcoin. Like I texted you this the other day when we were talking. If I owned every Bitcoin immediately right now, I control all of them. Imagine that.
Same's true for diamonds.
I have nothing of value. There's no military backing this. There's no nothing to like. If I owned all the Bitcoin and I tried to sell you a Bitcoin, you'd be like, get fucked. Why would I buy this nonsense?
I mean, I think what's concerning about like all these governments buying all the Bitcoin and shit, and people like Michael Saylor, is it kind of goes against the entire like ethos of what Bitcoin was originally about. Where like originally it's about like, hey, why is the government monitoring all our transactions? Why can the bank deny a transfer of money? I should be able to send $1 million anonymously to whoever I want because it's my currency, And I think that's what Bitcoin initially was about. And I feel like one of the big reasons that like governments are buying it isn't even because they're treating it as an investment tool, but because they need to own a chunk of it as fast as possible before it's unattainable, and they have some monetary system that's taken over the world that they can't control.
Yeah, it could be a just in case measure for them. Like, well, let's stock up just in case this turns into a real thing. But I don't know. I don't know enough about Bitcoin. I know there's a ton of Bitcoin people listening who are mad at me for this, but I just don't get it. Like, what is the value? Like when it's removed from this speculation market, like, it just seems like, because I've heard people say, my friends who are really into Bitcoin, they'll be like, it's a store of value. And it's like, really? Because it dropped 30% in a month. That's not what stores of value do.
It's a very volatile store of value. I mean, I think if you look long term, at the end of the day, like Bitcoin is the kind of thing you have to buy and forget about for at least like 5 years to make any money. And if you're not able to do that, then don't buy it. If you're looking to like quickly making some money, go gamble, go buy some other shit. But like if you're able to buy it, put it on a hardware wallet, put it on like a Ledger or a Trezor or something like that, and just throw it in a drawer and forget about it, and then come back in 5 years and check it again, you'll be fine. Michael Saylor, unfortunately, can't do that because he's bought 3% of the global supply of it. So he needs it to stay up for a while, especially because there's a stock tied to it. But, for someone like one of us going to buy it, I think it's a pretty smart thing to have, especially if you're investing in stuff in other markets.
I bet it is. I don't know enough.
It's smart because it's gone up in the past.
I mean, I think more so like it's a very different asset than other things. Like if you're someone who like you buy something, like let's say you buy a stock. If you buy a stock and it goes down 15-20% on a bad like announcement or some bad news about the company or something, and you're like, shit, I need to get rid of this stock right now, then like you could do that and get, you'd lose 15-20%. That's a very unusual event in the stock market. In crypto, that's not unusual. But what is usual is like long-term gains, generally with stuff like Bitcoin. Not obviously a lot of cryptocurrencies are trash, but Bitcoin is something that it's you look at the long, the 5-year, 10-year chart, like, dude, it goes up just consistently. It's very volatile. it'll go up very suddenly and then it'll go down. But if you look at the average of like where it's going, like it's a pretty safe place to park your money historically.
I just got tired of constantly looking and the price was higher. And it's like,
but there will be a time
it's like
when
that did circle around to it's smart because it's gone up in the past with just a lot more words.
I mean,
maybe
the real value, though, like I was mentioning earlier, is the ability to move money around without oversight. You know, that's really the thing. I think what I feel like personally is like, dude, when let's say I have $5,000 in my bank account, you know, literally just a few days ago, I tried to Zelle my mom $3,500. You know, I was going to send her some money. My bank held it for security purposes and then denied the transfer. I tried again. They deny the transfer again. It's now been 48 hours of me trying to send this money. I had to send her a direct wire instead. That went through. Bitcoin, she could have had the money in 5 minutes and then converted it to USD if she wanted to. Done deal, you know?
But there was an option with direct wire for you to do that already.
Sure, that takes a day and there's fees attached to that. Whereas Bitcoin, it can cost cents to send a transaction, and I could send $100 million in one go if I want to. If I try to send someone $1 million on my bank account, I'm going to have to talk to someone for a very long time on the phone.
Fair enough. Yeah.
That's not, you know, someone has to approve that, even though it's my money, right? Which I personally think, why should anyone have to approve me putting my money anywhere? You know,
I don't know.
I get
you worry about terror funding. You know, you got
sure.
But it seems like the whole idea of
money either way, dude. I mean, they're getting it in.
The whole idea of it being decentralized and whatnot is almost reliant on big banks and governments not buying in. And now that many of them have,
that's a problem.
Regulation is on the horizon for it, and it'll kind of be self-defeating in a way where it's like, this is like a free currency you can send, but not really, because you live in Belgium, which means you have to register this in this way or whatnot. So I don't know. We nailed it on the NFT thing so hard where we're like, this is gay and retarded and obviously
I'm glad you brought up NFTs.
That now I see crypto and I'm like, well, what's the end game here? Like what is the potential end game? And the end game for most people who are holders is to eventually find someone to buy it off you and then transmute that into USD that you can spend on things.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's like debit cards that spend right out of your Bitcoin wallet though, and you're just buying with Bitcoin essentially, as far as you're concerned.
Who's doing that though? Like the Bitcoin people aren't spending Bitcoin. They're hold on for dear life people.
No, I have a few friends who use the debit cards. They have cash back, dude. They're pretty good. Like you can get one of those Bitcoin debit cards and like transfer a certain amount into the account it's connected to and like get 2%, 4% cash back on pretty much every transaction, which is pretty nuts.
Interesting. I didn't know that was even a possibility.
So Woody, I'm a little bit
popular.